all the economics evidence shows, if we close our markets, if we put up barriers, then we raise the costs for those who can least afford it. We make our industries uncompetitive, we entrench complacency, we discourage investment in capital and technology, we stifle innovation, and of course we breed suspicion and mistrust between nations. And we should never forget the old truism that when goods and services no longer cross borders, then troops and tanks do so instead. We are determined to bring back that moment and that inspiration. And under this government, led by Theresa May, Britain is preparing once again to be the leading campaigner for that liberating and enriching force. And let me be absolutely clear, because I know you'll want to ask questions about it afterwards. We can be that great free trading nation again. And we can be ever more internationalist. And indeed, we can be ever more European. But we can change our relationship with the EU from one of membership to one of friendship and partnership. And to use that opportunity to create a regulatory environment that members of the British Chambers of Commerce have been crying out for decades, that precisely suits the needs of British business and commerce, of people in this room, and to be able for the first time in 44 years, as I say, to fulfill the Prime Minister's vision and be the world's leading campaigner for free trade. Britain is at its best, and all our history teaches us this. Britain is at its best when we are most global in our outlook. And in my time as your Foreign Secretary, it's been almost overwhelming to discover that we have links and friends around the world that we have built up for centuries, and in some ways and in some places that we have almost forgotten, not least in those rapidly growing Commonwealth economies, but also elsewhere. And of course we remain committed to our European markets, perhaps more so than ever, but we need to think globally again. Because a global Britain is a safer Britain and a more successful Britain, and above all, a more prosperous Britain. And the same, in my view, goes for the rest of the world. I think there's every reason why we shouldn't go at this full tilt and get it done within 2 years, but let's see how it goes. I had some, I think David Davis and Dexia are doing a fantastic job. I think what's changed since the Lancaster House speech on January the 17th, when the Prime Minister set out her vision for how all this was going to work, is that our friends and partners understand much more clearly what we want to achieve, and they can see much more clearly how it could be made to work in their interests, and why actually a win-win outcome is the best thing for everybody. I'm not saying that it will be, there won't be some bumps in the road, and I'm not saying that from time to time some plaster won't come off the ceiling, but there's a lot of goodwill, and that goodwill is building rather than diminishing.